Right now, I make about $83,000 a month at 16 with my coaching business. And the month before that, I made $82,000. What I'm going to do in this video is look back at when I was making 20K a month, because that's where a lot of people are stuck, at 20K a month. And that's where a lot of my clients have been stuck too. I want to talk about some of the mistakes I made at 20K a month. Some beliefs I had, actions I was doing that I was genuinely so confident in that I believed I would just do them more, and that with time everything would solve itself. And the decisions I've made and the new beliefs I've installed that completely have changed my business and almost made me a new person. So when I was at 20K a month, I was running a offer for coaches similar to this one. Obviously, I didn't have as much experience, but I was running an offer for coaches. I had a few good client results, and it was a consulting offer in a similar fashion. The problem is I was scaling this offer just doing outreach, and outreach worked. I mean, we were booking 2 to 3 calls per day. I did 20 to 30K a month just from outreach. And it was because I had a belief, number one, that I wasn't qualified enough to do content and ads, because there were people that had way more results with me. And I was also just like a little bit insecure around it, around making content. I was very, very young. And I stick to doing outreach because I was like, okay, if I can do 20 to 30K a month with outreach, if I can just increase the volume and get these clients, get them better results, and build up my client base and upsells and renewals, it'll compound over time and I'll get to 100K a month. However, the problem is I wasn't actually building anything. So outreach, it is a hustle. It's like linear. You can do more of it and you're going to scale by doing more of it. However, you're just doing more and more and more and more and more. There's nothing exponential to it. So when I was doing more and more outreach, like number one, it wasn't possible. I was in school. I had to take the sales calls myself. I had to deliver for clients as I was getting more clients. And obviously, I had to hire a team. I hired a VA to start sending the outreach. I hired a little bit of things out. I hired someone to help me with certain things in fulfillment because certain parts were done for you at this point. And I hired out certain parts. The problem is it just wasn't possible to scale because there's a level of volume where it doesn't even become possible. Like your Instagram profile can't send unlimited messages per day even. I had to get 2 profiles at this point. It's just a massive mess, right? I wouldn't have been able to do more volume consistently. And the problem is then, if you're just doing volume, right? Even let's say I'm making 30K a month. Every single month, I was like, fuck, I gotta do this shit again. It's like running in a hamster wheel. It's like the only thing that generates money is me doing more work. There was no leverage to what I was doing. And every single month I was like, fuck, I gotta do more work. Now, I had this belief that, of course, I'm gonna switch to content and ads. That's what I'm doing for my clients. But right now, I'm gonna try and do content and ads at the same time as I'm doing outreach. The reason I had that belief was I was thinking, well, outreach is generating money, and I should never stop something that's generating money for something that isn't generating money right now. And I believe that, let's say I get outreach to this, and I keep doing outreach and do content at the same time, I can build it up to where the content starts making money, and I also have more social proof from doing the outreach, and then I go all in on content and ads. And that just simply isn't how things work. So I was doing outreach, I was trying to do content and ads at the same time. I simply didn't have enough time to do both of them. So content and ads got minimal effort. When I got leads, I didn't reply to them. The ads most of the time didn't perform that well because I didn't make that many new ads, didn't make that much content, didn't post on stories often. Things were just executed on poorly because I was trying to do them at the same time as doing outreach, same time as delivering a service, same time as doing sales calls while being in school at this point. Keep in mind, I could only work 4 hours. Maybe some nights I would stay up late, I could work 5 or 6 hours. It was a fucking hustle. Now, what I did is I went ahead and I said, fuck it. I'm going to go all in on doing content and ads. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to do another second of sending outreach. I don't want to do any of this bullshit. And I committed to that, and I said, even if I make less money, I'm going to do it. Because the business that's doing 100K a month, let's say I want to get to 100K a month, is the business that's doing 100K a month doing outreach. You have to ask yourself this too, right? Like whatever you're currently doing, whatever systems and processes and team members you currently have, look at imagine your business at 100K a month and how that business runs. Would that business be doing this? Would that business be tracking their data? Would that business have a setter, right? Look at in what ways are these not aligned? Because you're not going to get to here unless you already operate from the state. I'm sure you've heard this before. You need to operate from the state as you've already achieved this business. The problem is I was saying I'm going to do outreach until I hit this and until this builds up. However, I need to act from this has already built up for me to get there. I have to think my personal brand is already making money so that I can take my personal brand serious so that it actually starts making money. You have to act as if these things have already happened. You have to act from the person. You have to take actions in alignment with the person who does these things, who has that business. So I was looking at it, does that business, which is doing 100K a month, send outreach messages? Fuck no, right? Like, no way. I was thinking like, no, that doesn't happen. As I was reflecting on that, I realized, no, that business doesn't send outreach. Let me just cut outreach. Very logical. Even if I make less money, I'm going to cut outreach. I'm going to go all in on content and ads. I did that, and it's almost like the universe rewarded that immediately. So I went from like doing 20 to 30K a month. That month where I went all in on content and ads, I did 40K a month. So it's almost like doubling my revenue, because I was doing often like 20K months before that. 20 to 40K, it's almost double my revenue because I went all in on content and ads. Which is extremely weird, because I always thought, when I cut this out, I'm going to have less revenue because this is not making revenue right now. The reason this is not making revenue right now is because I'm still doing outreach. And it's the same thing with so many other things. This is what I've done again and again. I've operated from the state of it already being there. So the next step was like, well, if I hire a setter, the setter is not going to have enough leads because lead flow isn't that great right now. So this was through the process of when I was focusing fully on content and ads. I still didn't have that much time. Keep in mind, I still have clients. I have the best client results in the market. I got to fucking fulfill. I got to give them my time of day, my energy, and I got to make sure they're killing it. That's my responsibility. That's what I promise to people. And I'm not going to give that promise away. Like, my word is going to stand. When I'm then also doing content and ads, I didn't have that much time. So I was also doing the setting and the closing. So throughout this, as I was scaling this to 40K a month, 50K a month, I was like, okay, like, this is not going to scale. Because I'm doing the setting, I'm doing the closing, I'm doing this. What if I hire a setter, right? And it's like, well, a few people were telling me you don't have the lead flow to hire a setter. And I even thought that myself. I don't have the lead flow to hire a setter. Then I realized, if I hire a setter, then the only focus becomes how do I get the lead flow to feed the setter. I'm operating from that business again. That business that does 50K a month while I'm in school has a setter, because I can't be doing the setting myself. I got a setter in, there wasn't enough lead flow, and I told them, look, I'm going to give you 10% commission, set of 5, and I'm going to get you a fuck ton of lead flow very, very soon. I'm going to turn on ads in 2 weeks. I just want to, I've already done these months. I even kind of like twisted it a little bit, said I've already done really big months. I know exactly how to run content ads. Look at these offers I've ran. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. My client results are the best. I'm going to run up content and ads. I just need you to be in the DMs, and I need to see that you're performing, and then I'll run up the content and ads. Got the setter in. He started booking calls. Obviously, there wasn't that much lead flow. Then my focus again became content and ads, and I was just focusing on content and ads to feed the setter calls. And then that part took off. And it's the same thing. I'm thinking, with the 50K a month business, does that business owner set himself? The 100K a month business, does that business owner set himself? No. So if I'm not letting go of that, I'm not getting to that business. I had to operate from that state now. And that was the biggest realization that I had. And I've done this time and time again after realizing that I need to operate from my future, that person who runs that business, to get that business. And it was the same with dropping out of school. Does someone who's making $1 million a month, 100K a month, 200, 300, 400, 500K a month, is he still in a high school classroom fucking learning about whatever? No, of course not. He's out there traveling, meeting people, hosting masterminds, becoming a better person, doing what he's passionate about, doing what he's loving. And I was like, okay, well, if I want to become that person, got to step into that energy now. Got to step into who that person is now. I can't wait to have these things and then drop out of school. No, I got to drop out of school now, and then I'll get these things. And it's what I do with all my actions, right? When I was hiring a closer too, there was a conversation where someone brought this up to me, because at every level there's a new devil, right? You always have to operate from this new version of yourself. So you think you reach it when you get to 50K a month, but then there's a new version of yourself at 100K a month. So at every level there's a new devil. And I had a conversation with very, very smart guy. And I had a conversation with him. This is when I was hiring a closer, right? So before I hired a closer. So I was still doing good numbers, 70K a month. This was quite recently. And I told him, yeah, so like I'm not hiring a closer because my plan is to get to 4 calls per day. And then I'm going to hire a closer. So I'm going to get to 4 calls per day. Then I'm going to hire a closer. And then I can take 2 calls and the closer can take 2 calls. And I'll make sure that like revenue doesn't fall down. And he was just looking me dead in the eye. He was like, bro, you're being a massive pussy. He didn't actually say that, but like that's how I interpret it, because it's true. Because does the 300K a month, 400K a month business, does that person close himself? No. So why haven't I let go of closing? Well, it's all fear, right? So I had a fear of stepping into that version of myself, because to step into that business, I had to let go of closing myself. So I was afraid that by hiring a closer, he wasn't going to be as good at speaking to the leads, because he didn't know my client results as well. He didn't know my market as well. He didn't know me as well. He doesn't know the leads as well. The leads will be kind of weird connecting with him when they work one-to-one with me. So all these beliefs that made me afraid of letting go of closing. right? And these beliefs, at the end of the day, if I'm afraid of letting go of closing and a 300K a month business has a closer, then I'm afraid of getting to 300K a month. And that is the thing you realize, right? Like, if you're afraid of the action, or if you're afraid of how that business operates, then you're afraid of getting there. That's why you're not getting there. So if you need to get to 100K a month and you're 20K a month and you're not running ads, you haven't hired a team, you haven't gotten the right systems in place, you're not tracking your data, you gotta fucking think, is the 100K a month, 200K a month business doing that? Of course they are. So if you're not doing those actions, then you don't want that. If you associate doing those actions with pain, then you associate getting to that level with pain. You have to realize that to get anything, you have to operate from that state. So what I would do is I would sit down with a piece of pen and paper, think about the next step for your business, whether it's 100K a month, 200K a month, 300K a month, 50K a month, whether it's 10K a month. Think about what that business looks like. So write down what systems and processes they have, what team members, how it runs, how much action you take. Like, do you take your home calls, or do you just focus on maybe making content and ads? What are you doing, right? Like, this is your dream business. How many hours are you working in that dream business? Maybe you're only working 4 hours, right? If that's your dream business, then the person who's working 4 hours definitely isn't taking his own sales calls or setting himself. Here's what the dream state is. What does that look like? So what systems and processes does that have? What team members does it have to facilitate that? Who do I have to be to run a business like that? And then act from that state. You have to be that person, you have to be that business before you reap the rewards of having that business. You don't just get the fucking 300K a month and then you hire a closer. No, you hire a closer and then the closer closes and you focus on bringing in more calls and then you get to 300K a month. It has to be that way with anything, right? Any action you're considering right now, ask yourself this. If you knew you'd be successful, would you do it? Yes or no? Probably do it, right? And so then the question becomes, do you want to send a message to yourself that you're going to become successful or that you're going to fail? Now, another example of this, I have a friend called Julius doing 60K a month with an appointment setting offer. When he came to me, he was doing 4K per month. So we went from 4K a month to 40K per month in 6 weeks. The entire interview is on my channel. You can go out and watch it. It also goes over when he was at 40K a month, exactly how he got there and how he scaled to 60K a month. He went on to do 60K a month. The same month we recorded that video, gave him some specific insights. He used those and he made 60K a month. Now, one of the things that was very, very unique with him, when he came to me, he had a lot of these beliefs that held him back. However, one of the things he's been good at is he's been good at acting from that state of like who he wants to become. So when he came to me, he didn't have much money. He made 4K a month. So he invested his last fucking money into me. The money he had saved up. When he started working with me, it was like if he didn't make money, he wouldn't have money to pay rent. He had about $500 left. So we couldn't even run ads when we started. So he came to me and he invested in me and he put himself in a pretty bad financial situation. Now, I wouldn't recommend this. If you're gonna invest in someone, do it don't do it if you're in a really bad situation, because if you pick the wrong person, that's gonna hurt you a lot, and you're not gonna be in the best situation to actually take action on the advice they give you, because you'll be acting from a place of fear if you're in a very bad position. That being said, he invested in himself, he backed himself, and he went on to do 40K a month 6 weeks later, because he acted from that state of like, look, well, the business that I want to have, the business owner that is making 40K a month, he has these specific pieces of knowledge. He has these team members in place. He knows how to run ads, right? He had never run a profitable ad before he started working with me. That business owner is doing 40K a month, 60K a month, knows how to run ads, knows how to do these things. So he seeked out that knowledge and invested in himself, and we ended up crushing it. That's another example of operating from the state of who you want to become. If you're operating from the state, you're taking actions as the person you are today, you're going to stay the person you are today, and you're going to get the results that you're getting today. And you need to reframe your beliefs and the way you're thinking and the actions you're taking if you want to end up getting a different outcome.